taken some absolutely stunning photographs of the Scarborough area, and John's turned them into some awesome postcards.
Thank you for that. That's very nice of you to say so. I've only been going for probably a few weeks now with these postcards, but it all started with a book, really, and I've produced a book. But the book, it's a big coffee table size book, and it's got about 200 photographs in it, and all that arose out of the Facebook group that I run called Scarborough Photographs. Now, Scarborough Photographs has grown from about December 14 through to now, and we now have nearly 2,500 members. And a lot of the members, in fact 60% of the members, come from away, all over the country and even as far as Australia. And a lot of them have said, John, how do we get hold of some of your photographs? I'd like to produce canvas prints, for example, for my wall at home, and all sorts of demands. So I thought, well, there's a couple of things I can do here. I can put them on a website, which I've just done recently as well. And then I thought, well, maybe I can produce a book, and all sorts of things went through my mind. So the first thing I did was produce a few calendars, and that didn't really work. And then I produced this big coffee table sized book, which has got a mountain of accolades. Unfortunately, it just cost too much to publish. And I've even had quotes from China, and to get it published is going to cost me probably higher than the retail price that it would sell for if it was to sell. So in the process of doing this book, and I've got a sample here which I've just shown Barry, and I showed the book to somebody in town who said, look, if it's too expensive, why don't you do some postcards? So that's what I've done. So I've created, from the Facebook site and the demand from the people who are the members, I've actually created a website where you can actually buy my photos for virtually next to nothing. I'm not in it to make a lot of money out of it. It'd be nice to make a little bit of money to cover my costs. Photography is not cheap nowadays. Even though it's free to make photographs, the equipment's not cheap. Enough money to buy myself a little car or something like that, because I'm now retired and I've also got a slight disability. I have a breathing problem. And in fact, anybody who knows me will notice that most of my photographs are taken within about 50 metres of my car.
If anybody wants to buy your postcards, how would they go about it then?
Well, a few people have taken them. One of them is the Royal Hotel in Scarborough. Another one is the newsagent on Aberdeen Walk, who's also got a news agency down in Newborough. I've got them through quite a lot of B&Bs and hotels. I think the main thing is probably the newsagent in Scarborough, to be honest.
You have a website, don't you?
Yes, I've got two websites actually. I've got one for the postcards to sell to the trade. It's not for the public, and that's at scarboroughpostcards.com. And then I have a website which I've created to actually supply the pictures that are on the postcards, as well as a lot more as well. I think I've got about 100 photos on there at the moment, and that's at John Edmonds scarboroughphotos.co.uk. All one word.
You do have lovely photographs. I've been looking at them. And of course, they are all of Scarborough.
Yes, well, I was born and bred in Scarborough. I emigrated when I was 21 to Australia, and I've been away for quite a lot of years. I've come back to Scarborough mainly because, in fact, it's interesting really, because I went to Westwood School. And at Westwood, our geography teachers, when I was about 12 years old, said to me, the places around Scarborough are the most beautiful places in the world, and we all laughed. In fact, I remember distinctly the class just thinking, this guy's a bit crazy. But I've lived in Australia, I've lived in Sweden, I've been to America, I've been all over the place. He was right, it's one of the most beautiful places on the planet, if you go outside the main street. The main street, of course, is just like every other main street. But once you get to places like Forge Valley and Robin Hood's Bay, Vale, down to Flamborough, over to Pickering, etc., it's absolutely gorgeous. So that's where I've come back to live, and I'm quite happy here now. It's like coming back to my roots.
Once again, John, what is your website if anybody wants to get some of your postcards?
Well, the retail stockists are listed on the scarboroughpostcards.com site, so they can actually pick up where they're being sold and go there and buy them, I guess.
OK, John, I wish you all the luck in the world. I think they're marvellous. I'm Barry Robinson, talking to John Edmonds from the Scarborough Photographs for Vale Radio.
Vale Radio at the